class a little bit low key for the heat today, and really focus our breath on our exhales. And we'll be working a little bit with side body and belly down back bends for cooling the body and releasing that excess fire, which we've been doing a lot of through the month of July. But we're going to stay on that theme of balancing the excess fire through these hot days into August. And you can even bring hand to heart and hand to belly as you inhale. And then follow your exhale as you release. And we'll see if we can keep our focus on the exhale through the whole class today, as that helps to calm and soften and cool the body. And I think we'll start with some Satali breath, so curling the tongue, either like a straw straight out of your mouth, or curling it backwards so that you're inhaling through the side. And then closing the mouth to exhale out the nose. And staying focused on that exhale as you release, but also noticing the cooling effect of the breath as you inhale through the tongue. And begin to notice that cooling effect, maybe rising to the head. And as we continue, finding its cooling effect into the internal organs that often get overheated through Pita season on hot days like this. Let's have 5 more Satali breaths. And maybe for these last 2, think about slowing the breath down a little bit more. And as you complete your 5th breath, you can release hands down if you had them on heart and belly. And just take a few rounds of normal belly breath. And then if you're lying down, you can come to a seat. We're going to do a round of Kapata breath. And Kapata is a cleansing breath to help us release. And again, with all this heat, we just want to release some of that excess fire. And then we begin to work through our practice to clear everything out. So hands can be on your knees, or you can inhale, reach up to the sky, and exhale, arms parallel to the floor with thumbs up, and then begin whatever speed of Kapata that you wish to move at. It might be a little slower today. And as you work with your Kapata maybe a little slower pace, because we're not looking to create more heat, we're just looking for the purification aspect of Kapata today. And then take a nice deep inhale, maybe reaching the arms up. And we retain the inhale, softly, not forcing, just allowing that prana to build in the heart center. And then slowly release the arms, release the breath. Take another inhale breath. Bottom of your exhale, retain the exhale. Again, not forcing or stressing the body, just a gentle retention. And then release and inhale. We're going to come forward to hands and knees for cat-cow. And again, just bringing awareness to the exhale and also to the heart center as you inhale, the front body as you inhale, and then slowly exhaling and maybe pressing the top half of your mat away a little bit. Maybe you even want to rock to side on your exhale. And then inhale, cow. Exhale. Release through the neck. One more inhale, cow. And then when you arrive at your exhale, move into child's pose. Use your next inhale to rise, cow pose. And then we're going to exhale, down dog, and follow this pattern. As we inhale, drop to the knees, cow. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, cow. Exhale, dog. One more full round, oscillating between those three poses. The inhale, we move back into cow. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, cow. Curl the toes under, exhale, dog. This time we'll stay in down dog. Taking a few breaths, and let's move into the side body. Again, releasing that excess heat in the body, turning both toes to the right side of your mat. And really press the top of the mat away from you. Maybe even let your hips sway over to the left. And bring a nice stretch to that right side body. And then come back to center. And turn the toes over to the left, allowing the hips to sway right as you press the top of the mat away. And stretch into the left side body. Come back to center. Rise up high on your toes. And then bend your knees deeply, pressing the top of the mat away. And then rise up high onto your toes again, lifting the sit bones high. And then softly let the heels move towards the earth. Taking one more breath here. And then use your exhale to step or walk or float to the top of your mat. Let your feet be wide. And let's inhale, halfway lift. Let the heart rise with the breath. And exhale, let the belly draw in, fold forward. We're going to do that 2 more times. Let the top of the head spill. Inhale, let the heart float up, hands to shins or fingertips to the mat. Exhale, belly draws in, fold. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. This time press into the earth. Maybe bend your knees and rise up high as you circle wide. And draw into your heart center. Take a moment in your mountain pose. And we're going to move through some soft, gentle sun salutations with some lunges in them. So let's inhale, reach up. Maybe invite a back bend if you're ready. And as we exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, step a right foot to the back of the mat. Draw the heart forward as you inhale. Maybe you want to rock back and forth a little bit. Exhale, reverse lunge. Inhale into your lunge starting position. Exhale, back into reverse lunge. Inhale forward to lunge. Exhale to drop your back knee. And inhale, either hands to your front knee or reaching it up to the sky. And we'll pause here for a breath or two, inviting the back bend if you wish. Hands can be wide or hands together. Maybe looking up and lifting through the heart center. Take one more breath. And then exhale, hands come down to the mat. And let's step back, down dog. A nice slow rolling inhale into plank pose. And then drop the knees or lower through chaturanga, your choice. Come all the way down to the mat. I'm going to do some belly down back bends here, starting just with cobra. So inhaling, roll up. And exhale, come on down. Let's do two more like that. The inhale, we roll up, let the breath pour into the heart center. And the exhale, float it back down one more time. Feel your belly press into the earth as you inhale, rise. And exhale, release down. Let's do one more. Intertwine your fingers behind your back or hands parallel to your hips. And inhale, rise up, open the heart. Feel the pubic bone press down, tops of the feet press down. Exhale, release. Hands under the shoulders, press up and back. Child's pose, release through the back. Inhale, rise up, exhale, down dog. Let's inhale, right leg to the sky and three-legged dog. Exhale, step it up between your hands. Starting with the back knee up, inhale the heart forward. Exhale, reverse lunge. Inhale the heart forward. One more reverse lunge. This time as we inhale, heart forward, we drop the back knee. Hands to the knee or hands to reach to the sky. Invite a little back bend. Arms can be shoulder width or hands together. Staying for another breath or two. And then use your next exhale to bring the hands down. Lift the back knee, step forward. Uttanasana. Inhale, the heart rises. Exhale, we bow. Inhale, rise up. And draw into your heart center. Let's go ahead and do second side. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bow. Inhale, halfway. And exhale, left foot steps to the back of the mat. High lunge to start. Drawing the heart forward on the inhale. Exhale, reverse lunge. We'll just do this oscillation one time this time. Inhale, forward to your lunge. Exhale, drop the back knee. Inhale, reach to the sky. Option to keep reaching to the sky or bring your hands to the back of the head and let the intertwined fingers support your head as you lift the heart a little bit more. One more breath. And then we exhale, hands come down. Lift the back knee and step it back, downward facing dog. Inhale forward to plank. Exhale to lower down, however you wish to lower down. Meeting on the belly. Arms come wide, belly down, back bends again. On your fingertips, elbows bent. Inhale, roll up. Let's pause here for two more breaths. Allowing the inhale breath to pour in. Exhale, release, pubic bone, tops of the feet still pressed down. Take one more inhale. And then the exhale, release down. Hands under the shoulders. You can either press up into upward facing dog or press back to child's pose. If you want to press into upward facing dog, go ahead and do so. And exhale back
downward facing dog or child's pose.
Let's take a couple breaths in our downward facing dog. We want to make sure we're not building too much heat on this hot day. I never thought we'd be having so many hot classes this summer as we have been, but it's kind of a nice change from our normal summers. Let's take one more breath in downward facing dog. And then inhale, left leg floats up. Exhale, step it up between your hands, coming into our lunge. So inhale the heart forward. Exhale, reverse lunge. Inhale the heart forward. Exhale, draw up the back knee, and inhale to reach to the sky. Again, hands can stay reaching up, or bend and intertwine the fingers, support the head as you invite maybe a little more back bend as we begin to open with each round. Staying for one more inhale. And then hands through your heart center, down to your mat, lifting the back knee and stepping forward into Uttanasana. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, bow. Inhale, rise. And drawing into your heart center. Take a couple breaths in mountain pose, just checking in, noticing the effects of everything that you've done so far. Beginning to move energy around, beginning to warm the muscles, but release heat through the breath, through the exhale breath. Feel that gentle breeze on your skin in your mountain pose. And then inhale, reach to the sky. Exhale, bow. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, step the right foot back. Pivot that back foot down for warrior two and windmill your way up. And let's swing the arms down for a moment. Soften the shoulders, soften your gaze, and bring them back up and reach. And maybe even turn your palms up so that we're not tightening in the shoulders. And let's do a couple of rounds of Satali breath here just to keep us cool down through our practice. So 3 rounds. So inhaling through the tongue. Exhaling through the nose. See if you can begin to notice that cooling effect as we move into our last breath here. And then your next breath, inhaling into peaceful warrior. And really feel that opening in that left side body here. We're going to stay for 3 breaths here. As you press that left knee forward and reach the left arm up and back. Take one more inhale, and as we exhale, moving into side angle. So you might start with your elbow on the knee, top arm overhead, and rotating the right side ribs up to the sky. And each inhale, lengthen a little bit more. Exhale, see where you can find some ease in your pose. One more round of breath. Releasing all that heat through the side body, tension through the side body. And then you can bring your right hand to your hip, so top arm to your right hip. Look towards your front foot. Bring the left hand, it can be to your shin, to your ankle, or to the mat. And begin to straighten that front leg as we're going to move into triangle pose. So your hand can be wherever is appropriate for you, and it can be on a block if you've got a block. And then rotate those right side ribs up to the sky again. Reach the right arm up. You can gaze to your front foot for a little more grounding. You can gaze straight out to the side or up to the sky. Wherever your gaze is, see if you can soften your gaze. And then see for 3 breaths if you can imagine
Doing alternate nostril breath, inhaling through your right nostril, so the top nostril, and exhaling only the left. Inhaling right, exhaling left. One last one. And then look to your mat. Bring both arms down, pivot onto your back foot, and step back into downward facing dog. Take one more breath here in your down dog. You can come into child's pose if you wish, or take a flow of your choice this time around. Using your exhale to lower, the inhale to find your back bend, whatever that looks like for you, and exhaling back, downward facing dog. You can take child's pose, you can stay in down dog, but we're taking 3 breaths wherever you're at. And again, bring your focus to that exhale. And if you're feeling heated, you can begin to use your Satali breath here in down dog as well. Taking one last inhale. Use your exhale to arrive at the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bow. Inhale, rise. And draw into the heart. Let's take 3 breaths in mountain pose. And again, when we're in a stationary pose like down dog or mountain pose, you can bring Satali breath into your practice to stay cool. Keeping a long, slow exhale. Let's let the next inhale begin, reaching up to the sky. Exhale to bow. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, step the left foot back, pivoting it down for warrior 2. And then rise into your warrior 2. So let's do that same thing we did. Let your arms release, your shoulders relax, and then just simply float them up and extend. And if it helps, turn your palms up. And let's do 3 rounds of Satali in our warrior 2. And just notice how concentrating on your breath changes the pose that we do almost every week. Your next inhale, we're moving into peaceful warrior. And letting that whole side body open up on the right, where the liver resides, the seat of Pita, the heat, the fire. Taking one more breath here. And use your exhale to find your variation of side angle, Rolling the left side ribs up to the sky. Maybe looking to the sky or looking straight ahead or looking to your front toes. Each inhale lengthening a little bit more. Each exhale finding a little bit of ease and softness in your gaze and the body. And then looking towards your front foot, bring the left hand to your hip. Find your hand on your shin, your ankle, your mat, or a block. As you begin to straighten for triangle, keep those left ribs rotated up to the sky as you extend that left arm back straight up to the sky. If you're really feeling, I should have said this on the other side, but if you're really feeling like you want to get into that side body, you can also reach the top arm overhead. One more breath here. And then look to the floor, to your mat. Release left hand down, right hand down, pivot onto your toes, step back, down dog. Again, your choice of vinyasa. It might be staying in down dog or child's pose or flowing through your choice of back bend. And then let's all take child's pose for just a couple breaths, keeping the softness and the coolness in our practice tonight. Checking in. Check in with what's going on in the body, the breath, the heart rate, the heat, but also check in with what's going on in the mind. Sometimes when our Pita is overheated, we can become myopic. So just check in with what's going on with the mind and see if you can soften, cool the thoughts. And whenever you're ready, finding your way into down dog. Let's inhale, right leg to the sky, three-legged dog. And let's pause here for a breath and really rise up high on your left toes and reach up high with that right leg. And then as you exhale, draw the knee through, rise up high on the back toes. Step that foot up between your hands. We're going to move into lizard. So you might want a block here. So you can have back leg up, or back knee up, or back knee down. And just move into whatever variation of lizard is appropriate for you today using your blocks. And it might mean you're up on straight arms, Beecher. Come here, Beecher. And just find your breath here, concentrating on the exhale. Is he okay there? Okay. Just give me the evil look if he becomes a pain to your practice. Whenever I practice, he likes to be right underneath me. Taking one more breath in your lizard. Do you guys feel like playing a little bit with your lizard since there's only two of you? Tim's going, no. So, you guys are both almost there. See if you can bring your right elbow under your leg and bring that hand down. Nice. And then see if you can extend your right leg. Michelle, you can probably do an arm balance. I can't. But just play. You have a little bit of an obstacle to this. And whenever you're ready, if you can get your back leg up off the floor, I can't. You probably can. And you can bring the other arm down to your forearm. That might help. Well, there you go. Yeah, awesome.
What is this called?
I can't remember.
Flying lizard?
I think it's flying lizard, yeah. And then we're going to step it back into plank or downward facing dog. You choose. And if you want to flow through a vinyasa, go ahead and do so. Otherwise, you can take a break in down dog or child's pose. Sorry, managing my dog, not my downward dog. Beecher, lay down. Let's take 2 more breaths wherever you're at, and then we'll meet in down dog to move into our second side. Come here, Beecher. Come here. There we go. Lay down. And then let's float left leg to the sky. Rise up high on your toes on the right. Stay there for a breath as you really reach and lengthen. And then exhale, draw the knee to the nose, step it up between your hands, or to the outside of your left hand, I guess. And then find your lizard on your second side, whatever that looks like on this side. However many blocks that you need. Beecher. Come here. Sometimes I like to rock back and forth a little bit. And then, let's play on our other side. If you played on the first one, you have to attempt to play on the second one, bringing the left elbow under that left leg. And you might stay there. You might extend that left leg, or you might do as Michelle and turn it into an arm balance. And then whenever you're ready, stepping it back to down dog or plank pose. Taking a flow if that's what your body is calling for, or taking child's pose if you need to cool off a little bit and not overheat. Let's take 3 breaths, whichever resting pose you've chosen. And then take one more breath and use your exhale to step, walk, or float to the top of your mat. Lay down. Boy, lay down. Inhaling to lift the heart. Exhaling to fold. And inhaling to rise up and draw into your heart center. Take a couple breaths in mountain pose. We're just going to move into a couple of simple balance poses. And then we're going to work on a little bit more front body opening. So bringing weight into that left foot. Just moving into tree pose. So bending the right knee. And you can go through the progression, if you wish, of starting at the ankle as you set it up and lift up through that left hip. Find your gaze, a steady, soft gaze. And then you might move to your shin or your thigh. And take your time finding your variation of tree pose. Beecher. Test your focus as Beecher comes and tries to knock you over. Beecher. Beecher. Taking another breath here, you can extend your arms up. Growing your tree, reaching to the sky, and keeping that soft, steady gaze with soft eyes. Nice. Really testing your balance here. I thought you were going to behave, bad boy. Take one more breath here. And we're going to transition from tree into warrior 3. So bring your hands to heart center. And as you release your foot, simply press it out behind you, coming into warrior 3. Now you can keep your hands at heart center, or you might release your arms, palms down, straight out to the side. So really open and spacious. Taking one more breath. And then bend the standing leg, bring the hands down, bring the back foot down into a lunge. And step back, down dog. Let's all come forward and make our way down to our belly. However you wish to make it down there. Let's move into Salabhasana, so releasing the hands alongside the hips, extend through the toes, lift up through the heart, lift through the arms, lift through the legs. And as you inhale, feel the belly press into the earth, let the breath pour into the heart. Take one more breath. And exhale, release it all down. Let's come into Makrasana for a couple breaths and really breathe into the belly and imagine feeling the nice cool earth beneath you. So hands, forearms, allowing your forehead to rest on your forearms. Nice deep belly breaths here. I wish we were laying on the nice cool forest floor right now doing this practice. But we'll use our imagination. One more breath. And then you can release your hands under your shoulders, press up and back. Child's pose, if you prefer to go straight back to down dog, you may. But child's pose is a nice little stop along the way to release any tension in your low back. And when you're ready, meeting us in downward facing dog. Using your inhale breath to lengthen through the whole back, through the whole spine. And then follow your exhale into some ease. You might rock the hips from side to side here. And taking one more inhale, use the bottom of your exhale to step, walk, or float to the top of your mat. Using your inhale breath to lift the heart and lengthen. Exhale, we bow. Inhale, rise, reach to the sky, and draw into your heart center. Nope, beat your. Take a moment in your mountain. We're going to move into our tree pose, second side. So this time bringing weight into the right foot. And when you're ready, bending that left knee, externally rotating, lift through that right hip so that we're not sagging in that right hip. Lift up, lift your heart, soften your gaze, and then find your variation of tree. And you might progress from ankle to calf to thigh, or you might move straight to your final foot position. And you might reach your arms to the sky, or you might keep them at your heart center. Taking one more breath here, and we're going to begin our transition into Warrior 3. So you might bring hands through to heart center, and then simply press that left foot out behind you into Warrior 3. And then option to bring the arms wide, palms facing the earth for a nice, spacious, open Warrior 3 for releasing the heat and feeling that expansiveness. And then bend your standing leg. Bring the left foot down to the back of your mat and step back, downward facing dog. Okay, come on. Let's inhale forward to plank and exhale down to your belly, however you wish to get there. And we're going to move into bow pose this time. I think pose is accessible to all of you. If it's not, you can move into another round of Salabhasana. So bow pose is bending the knees, grabbing the ankles, and then kicking the heels away from the sit bones, opening the heart, lifting the legs, lifting the heart, softening your gaze, release the intensity, and maybe bring your knees a little bit closer. Take one more breath here. And then slowly release down. You can come into Makrasana again by resting forehead on the forearms, or you can turn your head from one side to the other with your arms alongside your hips, if that's more appropriate for you. And if you've got your head turned to one side, turn it the other direction.
Nice big breaths into that imaginary cool, damp earth, cooling the front body. Allowing your exhale to let you sink into the earth. Take one more breath, and if you're ready, you can press back to child's pose. If you wish to stay there a little bit longer for a couple more breaths, you may. And then whenever you're ready, finding your way into downward facing dog. Let's float right leg to the sky in three-legged dog. And as you exhale, step it up between your hands. We're going to come into a low lunge, so dropping the left knee down. And then we're going to shift your weight a little bit forward so that you can bend your back leg, toes point up to the sky. So that you're not on your kneecap, but you're just kind of on that area above your kneecap. And then you can bring both hands to your front knee if that's accessible to you. If not, you can keep hands on blocks. And then you might play with keeping one hand on your front knee and reaching your left hand back towards your left foot. But your chest, your hips stay facing forward. And it might not be accessible, but you can play with that. You can also play with both arms to that back foot and opening the heart, or just keep that right hand on that front knee. And just stay with the breath here for 2 more rounds of breath if you can. Oh my God, what is going on here? 1 more round of breath. And if you're tight in your quadriceps, you're really going to feel this pose. And then as you slowly, don't let that back leg slingshot, release that back foot down. And then come into a reverse lunge with the back knee down. So it's like a half Hanumasana. And hands can be on your blocks here. I'm going to give you an option to play with Hanumasana. Tim, you've only got 1 block, hey? So you might stay in half Hanumasana, which is this one. If you want to play, and Michelle, I know you probably want to, slide that foot off your mat maybe to the side. And if you have blocks, just use your blocks to find where you can go without forcing and create the action of drawing the back hip forward and the front hip backwards so that you're creating muscular contraction. You can curl your back toes under if you wish. And whenever you've had enough, I know I've had enough of somebody here, you can make your way back. Tabletop and then downward facing dog or child's pose. Okay. Take a couple breaths there, taking your rest before we move to our second side. This seemed like a really good idea, having this crazy guy here who's been dead all day from the heat, but apparently now's time to not be. Let's move to our second side. Left leg floats up on an inhale. And as you exhale, step it up between your hands. Low lunge, second side. And then shifting your weight forward so that you're above your kneecap as you bend that back leg. And maybe you stay here with hands on blocks or mat. Maybe you come to the front knee and maybe this is as far as you go. Or reach to the back foot with the right hand. So right hand to right foot. And then you can also reach back with both arms.
He's obsessed with you, Michelle.
My ponytail.
I think it's because you smell like dogs. Stay here for a couple of more breaths. Come here. And when you're ready to release, you're moving into half Hanumasana to start, so just shifting the hips back. Stay here. And then if you want to slide into a version of Hanumasana, you can play with that. Hands on blocks and drawing the thighs, the hips toward one another to engage muscular action. So you're not just opening, but you're also strengthening at your end range. And then when you're ready, slide it back and step back. You might stop in tabletop or step right back into down dog. And then from here, we're going to move into pigeon pose and begin to start our cool off. So you can move into pigeon from down dog, starting with the right leg. You can move into pigeon from tabletop as well, drawing the right knee forward, walking the back foot back a little bit, and just take a moment in upright pigeon to lift the heart, open the heart. Releasing that heat. And then I'll give you the option. You can come into sleeping pigeon. Some of you might want to play with king pigeon, which I can't fully do the full version of reaching both arms back to the back leg, but play with whatever your body is calling you to today. So we're going to have 5 breaths here in your pigeon. And when you've done your 5 breaths, you can find your way back into downward facing dog. You might pause in tabletop along the way or move straight into down dog. And then let's move into your second side. So left leg draws through. Starting in upright pigeon. And if you want to play with king pigeon, feel free to bend that back leg and reach back, or move directly into your sleeping pigeon. Five breaths on this side. When you've completed your 5 breaths, you can find your way into downward facing dog, tabletop, or child's pose. And then we're going to move. Our last active pose is going to be camel's pose. So you can make your way to your knees. And then take whatever variation of camel, might be hands to your sacrum, hands to your heels. We're going to try and take 3 breaths in your camel pose. Whatever variation you're taking. And then when you release, you can come into Virasana, sitting on your heels, or move straight into child's pose. And then from child's pose, make your way up to a seat. Legs extended in front of you. Sit up nice and tall, Dandasana. And then exhaling into Paschimottanasana in a forward fold, lifting the heart, the belly up over the legs as you fold forward. Any amount, feet pointing up to the sky. And then slowly using your next inhale to come upright, moving into heart to knee pose by bending your right leg into a tree pose shape. And I think we'll do the revolved variation of this pose today just to get into that side body a little bit more. So rotating your torso towards the bent knee. And then releasing that left hand to the inside of that straight leg out in front of you. And then rotating the ribs over to the right and finding whatever variation you want to move into today. So right hand might be on your right hip. Your left hand might even just be on that left leg. Or you might also reach up and overhead. And keep rotating those right ribs up to the sky, whichever variation you're in. Breathing deeply and trying to keep the left side body from collapsing. So staying long through that left side body as well. One more breath here. And taking your time, slowly releasing one step at a time as you come upright. And releasing both feet out in front once you've made your way upright. And then moving to second side. So left leg comes in, rotating the torso towards your bent leg, releasing the right hand to the inside of that right leg, rotating the ribs out behind you and up to the sky as you create whatever forward fold is accessible to you. And then possibly reaching the top arm up and over. So it's kind of like your torso is in a bit of a peaceful warrior shape here, or side angle shape. And really getting into the low back and the side body opening here. One more breath. And then your next inhale, slowly begin to make your way out. Releasing both feet in front of you. And let's take one more forward fold just to balance out the pelvis and both hips. Inhaling nice and tall and exhaling, making your forward fold, keeping the spine long and the front body also long. Bring your awareness back to your exhale here as well. And then you can slowly walk it up. Bending both knees once you come all the way upright and lying down on your back with knees bent. And we'll do one round of bridge pose. And take whatever variation feels right for you today. It might be hands underneath intertwined or elbows bent as you rise into your bridge pose. And just bring the awareness into the heart center as you find your bridge pose. Let the breath pour in. Feel that cool breeze cooling the body as we release the heat of the front body in our bridge. And when you're ready, you can slowly exhale to come down. Take a few moments pause here once the hips touch down. And then you can choose either legs up to the sky or shoulder stand as our last pose before we wind it down. And if you're doing just legs up, you could put a block under your sacrum. You could also just bring your hands under your sacrum to make it a little easier to keep the legs up. And let's just take 5 breaths wherever you've chosen to be. And if you've got legs up, bring your arms nice and wide and allow space and expansion in your body. When you're done your 5 breaths and you're ready to release, just bend the knees and bring the feet down. Take a few moments, pause with your feet down, hips down, arms wide. And then we're just going to do some supine twists. So you can have your feet hip width apart, or you can bring your feet mat width apart. Mat width brings a little more sensation into the side body, which I really like when we're working with Pita. So take an inhale and center, and exhale, let your knees drop to one side. And we're just going to do this really slow from side to begin. Inhaling to center, exhaling to the other side. Inhaling center, and exhale the other side. And go back and forth a couple of times, and then let your hips pause, or let your knees pause on one side and stay for a few breaths. Breathe into that side body. Feel expansive through the heart center. And then go ahead and inhale to center and switch sides. Go to the other side and stay there for a few breaths. And then slowly finding your way back to center and moving into your final Shavasana. And I would invite you to let your Shavasana be wide and expansive. So let your legs be wider than normal. Let your arms be a little wider than normal. If you need anything under your knees, go ahead and do that. And then just let your breath begin to soften. Allow these next few moments for a complete cooling and release of the body. Very slowly begin to deepen your breath. Begin bringing some awareness back into the body. When you're ready, slowly roll onto your right side, coming into fetal position. Pause there for a couple of breaths. And then slowly press your way up to a seat. Let your eyes close. Let your hands rest on your knees or your thighs.
Come back to your breath. And then bring hands to your heart center. Take a deep inhale. Exhale out your mouth. And let's take one more inhale to Om. Om. Let your eyes float open. Namaste. Namaste. Sorry about my very bad behaving puppy tonight. Oh God, no, I want to kill him right now. He's been so barely can move all day today. And being hot, I thought, oh, he'll be good. And I was wrong.
Well, thank you. I'm glad I came.
I'm glad you came too.
Two of us.
He's so obsessed with you.
Yeah.
You probably really smell like your dogs.
Well,